to that next level, that would take some time.
Yeah. Well, I know quite a few ladies say this is not bodybuilding is not a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. It's about taking
Right.
that time to grow, and not to rush it. Here she is. She also did some strong men competitions. And where was
Yeah,
this?
I did that for like 5 years during COVID. It was fun.
Yeah, yeah, lifting heavy things, and you really can build size with it because I know quite a few ladies do powerlifting. It's so
Hmm.
different compared to strong man. Or you're a strong woman. You're a strong woman. So but yeah, you did pretty good. Second place here, United States Strongman Nationals. That's pretty good. What's that feeling like? What was it like for you when you were competing back then?
That was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Until I kind of tweaked my lower back and it scared me from doing those kind of things where you're literally throwing your entire body into the exercise just to get the rep in. So I don't know. I'm kind of nervous to get into that kind of stuff again. That's why I'm staying in bodybuilding for now.
Yeah, I recently interviewed a young lady. She is a powerlifter from Australia, Jamie, and she told me the same thing that she was doing issues with her arm, and she's still good with them because. And I know quite a few ladies who did powerlifting, you know, um, at the time, and they saw like the body was better. So also say your hairdresser and how long you have been doing that. Who's the friend
Um,
right there?
almost like 30 years.
Uh-huh. And you guys, how your clients like your work and how you do your hair?
I always change my hair and my look, so they're used to it.
Mhm. And who's the cute little baby here?
Oh, that's my friend's son.
Oh, cute little boy. Yes. He's
Hmm.
cute. Yeah. I also heard you're a grandma too.
I am. She's 4 months old now. I have a granddaughter.
Wow. Yeah. 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 I mean, telling you, like, yeah, we got here, folks. We got some buff grandma. Yeah. So, we got here from a man, Ryan Lake. Shout out to Ryan coming through. He says, "Hello, Don. How are you doing? And when did you start getting into weightlifting?" Yeah, I felt well. If you missed it, Ryan, you can catch it later. We want to go back through over it again. You missed it, you catch it later. But we have another guest here, a friend of yours. She's right here, Big Jane, saying, "Hey, yeah, shout out to Big Jane." And she is, I would say, a great lady. It was a great opportunity to interview her a while back, a little bit after she turned pro, and then I had also another live stream, another friend of hers, a while back. And how long you and Jane know each other? And except you met through the gym. What you think about her, like as a competitor, and y'all train?
Um,
How often y'all train together?
yeah, I just started because of prep. Um, I adore Jane. She's a sweetheart. I feel like sometimes it's hard to find like good workout partners, and I feel like when we do get together, we do push each other. So I enjoy her. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, yeah. Well, here's Jane saying, ha, yeah, yeah, Jane, hi, laughing at you. And I think she, like I say, she's a great lady. I think she's planning on doing the New York Pro next month because she did
Yep.
the pro debut last year. The great show. It's sponsored by Bev Francis and her ex-husband Steve Weinberger. You know, and what's your plans for this year? Because you're still training, you're still working out. What's your plans?
So I'm doing I have a show in like 8 weeks. I'm doing Bev Francis shows. So I'm gonna do Atlantic States and then Team Universe.
Universe, yeah, because that's in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yep.
And I know I interviewed quite a few ladies. I remember one year I interviewed a couple. This year I interviewed a couple of ladies who earned their pro cards bikini because there's like 600 bikini competitors that year.
Probably.
And yeah, and I interviewed another lady. She also competed at that show before. I think it's a decent show. Been around quite some time. And as a bodybuilder, you think it's really tough, especially for a woman to compete in this sport? Because often I tell you, it's a lot because the cost of traveling, your coaches, and everything that's involved with it. For your mindset, is it tough for you?
I think it's expensive either way for a man or a woman. I feel like sometimes we got to do extra things like our hair and makeup, but very expensive sport. So it makes you think about it a lot, I have to say. But it's very expensive, even like just making sure you got the food that you need and all that stuff. It's a lot. I enjoy it. I kind of like to fight myself. So I like the drive. I like the push, and in my eyes, keeps me healthy. Of course, we get a little too lean for stage, but in general, it just teaches you how to be healthy.
Hmm. Yeah, I've talked to a lady a while about this. Sometimes what bodybuilding does, it doesn't stop time, but kind of halts it a bit, slows it down, especially like you practice healthy eating habits. You muscle helps in like bone development because they tell you that we lift weights, you build muscle, it helps protect your bones better than just being like this. Because I tell you the truth, I wasn't as always like this. Life happens. You get out of high school, you get a job, you had a kid, and then it just creeps up on you one day, and you
Hmm.
look in the mirror and say, "Wow, what happened?" And when I was taking care of my mom, I put on a lot of weight, but then I decided to take care of myself. And that's the thing is, you have to make those choices for yourself. We have your comment from your girl, Big Jane. Shout out to Big Jane. She says, Dawn definitely looks leaner and her best this time. Wow. That's something from your friend, Miss Big Jane. So what makes you feel when someone like Jane tells you this, where you're looking leaner, great in shape? Does it really piques your ego, get you excited?
Yeah, like it definitely helps. It keeps your mind into it because being in it, we can't see outside of ourselves. And we're the hardest on ourselves, and we don't realize we are, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, but sometimes we don't see it. So it is nice to hear it, especially when it's somebody that they're going to tell you the truth either way, which is nice.
Yeah, I think Jay's that person who makes words. He tells you what's on his mind.
Yeah.
We got here from my man Ryan again says Donna looks good and in her best shape. Thank you, brother. Also, you asked question says, do you have any plans of a retirement? So that's a question. Would you ever, how long do you think you want to be in the sport? Because technically as an amateur, it's still down there. But would you ever feel like when it's time for you to walk away from it?
Well, I feel like I'd probably always do something. I did walk away from bodybuilding during COVID, so I did the strongman games for like 5 years. This is my second year back into bodybuilding, and I just kind of see how I feel at the end of the year. And however I feel when I'm done my shows, kind of plans my decision for me for next year. Because I go into prep like pretty far out. I give myself a very long prep.
Mhm. And you mentioned your coach, you and Jane have to work with the same coach. Who's that? How long y'all been working together?
Fred Biggie Smalls, and I've probably been with him at least 6, 7 years.
Mhm. Yeah, because he's also IFB Pro competitor. Biggie Smalls. He works also with Ann Gruber and quite a few other competitors. I mean, I heard his name a few times, and it's good that you have relationships 6, 7 years. I often hear sometimes, especially for a woman, it's hard to find a good coach to understand because men and women, our biologies are different. Even though I say like this, we're the same race, but we're different species. You can say genders, but I say species. And what works for a man may not work for a woman because guys, it'll take us long. Like, when I lost weight, I was losing weight, boom, 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 because we have natural testosterone. We can build muscle faster naturally. But women, y'all meant for things like having babies and take care caretakers. But when we get to this, you really have to have a passion for it.
Sorry, your thing just cut out.
Hello, hello.
No, your video cut out for a minute.
Oh, damn! Cut off for me. Can you see me now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're good. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So, like I said again, women have to have a real passion for it. Because I talk to ladies and tell me that they do it because of a passion. Because as you said earlier, the cost of being a woman in bodybuilding, the
Yeah, and
hair.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I feel like it makes me accountable for things. It makes me pay attention to things. It keeps me healthy. I like to do active vacations, hiking and biking. Like I think it's good for us mentally too. Makes us feel good. Working out definitely helps mental stress of every day and work and all that. So the gym definitely I don't see myself ever not being in the gym.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's the thing about bodybuilding. You have to have a passion for it. Most people, if they look at bodybuilding, they always make the assumption that I just take steroids and you're just fine and I'm gonna be big. That's it. But in my conversations, it's more than that. Steroids or organic performance enhancers are only a small factor to it. If you follow a diet, a plan, and consistent, and and discipline, you go pretty far. But it's a lot, like I said again, it's a lot of sacrifice, like time, money, travel again. Compared to the women, the guys, they do have expenses like food and everything else. But when it comes to show day, it costs y'all ladies more because y'all get your hair and makeup
Yeah.
done, get your nails,
Yeah.
tanning. The guys got to put on a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts, and that's it.
True. True.
Mhm. Yeah. But one thing I wish that y'all, since this is the truth of it, the women's divisions make up the majority of the sport because you got divisions like figure, fitness, bikini, physique, women's
And
bodybuilding.
they added the
You
new
know,
one.
yeah. Oh, fit model. Excuse me. Ha!
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan. I'm going to tell you this. I'm not a fan. When bikini came in, I wasn't a fan of it because this is how I see it. Unlike the other divisions like figure, fitness, physique, even wellness in a way, those divisions spawn off from women's bodybuilding. Bikini and fit model were more like if you lived in Florida, in Florida you have creatures like iguanas like that. Those are not naturally inhabit creatures. They're from other countries. It's like an invasive species. And this is what this is. Fit model, no offense to the competitors. I know they want to compete, but it's an invasive species to me. It's my feel of it is that it's going to push out women's bodybuilding, probably eventually physique. And they say they want crossovers, but here's the thing about promoters: they make money from crossovers. That's why you see, like yourself, you did figure. You've seen girls who done figure and physique. You've seen girls who done physique women's bodybuilding. It's because they can make money from it. They want the division to
Yeah.
come in to be the replacement for bikini, but the fact is, it's just going to end up being like bikini now than it was today.
Yeah, I know. They are kind of like not all shows have women's physique or women's bodybuilding, so it is. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know one show that you're in Ohio used to have back in the day that was also a classic. Arnold the Terminator, Schwarzenegger, and Arnold and Dylan. But I'm a fan of his movies. I grew up watching. We all did. Conan Barbarian. But I'm not a fan of what he has done pushing out women's bodybuilding, physique, and even figure. You know, and no offense to wellness and bikini, which I call TNA divisions. I respect the competitors, but I'm not a big fan of them per se.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So anyway, as you being a woman in sport, what do you feel is needed to maybe advance the opportunities for women in bodybuilding?
I honestly have no idea. There's a lot of stuff. It's you know I don't like to talk negative about anything, so I'm just gonna keep my comments to myself. But I feel bad because I know I'm not gonna go up to bodybuilding, but it does kind of make it hard for them to find shows to do, and they don't offer it at that many anymore.
Yeah, it's so few and far between, other than maybe natural. I talked to one lady who got a pro card at nationals, and she was doing physique and women's bodybuilding, and she won the overall. And there was only like 5 or 6 of the ladies, and usually you have so many divisions, so many classes. They decided to just smush up to one class, and she won both the title and the overall. With physique, there's still opportunities, but then, like I said again, they are cutting them from shows like for pro qualifications or even regional qualifications.
Yeah.
I think one thing is that the athletes, especially in the higher end, they have to really say something because this thing is when we go to shows, we don't come to see the judges or the promoters or whoever's there. We come to see the athletes. One person I will say like this: she's my hero. She's my girlfriend, and that is the lovely Miss Andrea Shaw. I love her so much. I think she turned around women's bodybuilding, but she comes in with this look. Just I've interviewed ladies who've known her. I mean, and just tell me how great of a lady she is, how nice she is. I think we need more people like her, maybe to advance the opportunities for women in bodybuilding.
Yeah. No, I like her too. She's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So, as you know, we talk about your son. What he thinks about his mom being all muscly and huge.
He's in his 20s. He doesn't have anything to say.
Yeah, doesn't say because yeah, he's a boy, but boy, my bitch, what your mama
He
doing?
doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't really have an opinion about it.
Well, here's the thing: is he may not tell you, but he does. Like I said again, I'm been a son, and again, this old saying: a boy's best friend is his mother. We may not say nothing to you directly,
Mm.
but we have something because I'm speaking on a standpoint because he's still growing to be a man. Take some time. He's 25. He's halfway there. I'm 50.
I know. He's kind of getting there, but yeah. But that's my
Yeah,
buddy. He knows I got his back.
yeah, and he got yours
Yeah.
because you're
Oh,
that's
totally.
yeah,
Totally.
because that's your boy. Like this. Like I remember this old Westerns, old cowboy said, "Women come and go every day." But you only got one mama, and when she lose her, you can never replace her.
That's true.
Yeah,
Very true.
but anyway, like I said, bodybuilding, like I said, it's a tough sport. The financial cost of it, like your training, your dieting involved in it. What's your day to day like when you are in the gym?
So I have cardio at my house. So I usually do my morning cardio at home, and then I go work about 8 to 10 hours, and then I go train at night, and then repeat the next day. And I usually work Monday through Friday.
Mhm. Yeah, especially still doing hairdressing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty. I think it's kind of flexible because most people, unless you have clients, when you have clients in the day, most people don't have those really good flexible jobs. Like one of my jobs, I used to work a few jobs when I was younger. I used to work at a gas station. I work at a textile plant. I work at a processing plant. I work in a strip club. I had quite a few jobs coming up. Yes, the
Mhm.
strip club thing. Yes, guys be telling me, George, man, you work at all those girls. But hey, dude, like this. If it's a good night and they're making money, everything's great. If it's not, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes they break up fights every now and then between the girls too.
Oh, I
Yeah,
can't. I can only imagine.
yeah, yeah. You see around there ask teachers, but then they're like, you going and say, hey. It's tough. But yeah, it's a tough sport to be in. And like your other family friends, what they think about it.
I don't know. My brothers tease me and they're like, don't stand next to me. You make me look little. You make me look like a punk. Cause like I'm the short one. I'm like 5'6" and they're all over 6 foot tall, but they're just big guys. So they tease me sometimes. And then my cousin at his wedding wanted to arm wrestle at his wedding. And I let him win, and his wife sent me a thank you letter and said thanks for letting him win on his wedding day.
See, she knew this. Said, baby, you're not gonna beat her. He said, Don, thank you for letting him win. I know he's a punk. He's a
I grew
bitch
up with
ass.
I know. I grew up with older brothers, so I'm used to all that stuff. That stuff don't bother me.
Well, me, I grew up with three older sisters, and I have an older brother. Or actually, two older brothers. My oldest brother is my father's son. We didn't really grow up together. He's still my big brother. And my oldest brother he's the one who really got me into bodybuilding because he played football here in our hometown. He used to always get the
Okay.
muscle mags, the Iron Man flex. I used to always look for them because I grew up in the 80s. And the two most popular cartoons in the 80s, Thundercats, He-Man, you know. And then when I got about maybe 11 or 12, and y'all ladies, something about y'all muscly plump women just kind of fight me. It brought out another personality out of me. And I had to meet my crime, Don. I am a muscle person. No, I admit it. Some of y'all ladies are just how y'all build your bodies, some beautiful bodies, just something appealing. Because there is a factor too on bodybuilding. There is a little bit of a fetish. You have one side of it where you have guys saying like, "Hey, my sister made me look like a little boy," and then you have the other guy say, "I want to be a little boy, Don." I mean, it's kind of a flip because society's not comfortable with the idea of women with muscle. Men can get that allowance compared to women.
Yeah. True. No, I agree. I'm saying I when I see other women that have muscle, I look up to them because I know how hard it is to do it. It's not easy. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time. So I look up to it. So I don't know. Everybody's different.
Yeah. Like other than Big Jane and people like Andrea, who else do you see that you're a fan of in bodybuilding?
My coach, I think he's doing the Masters Olympia. So I've always looked up to him, and he's been doing it since he was in high school. And he's a friend of mine, so that even makes it more so like a special relationship because like I know like that's my buddy. He's got my back. But and then I'm excited for his show coming up too. But I look up to and a lot of them. No one particularly more than the other. I just look up to people that've been doing it for years and the dedication and the time. Like it's a lot. And the ones that get to do it full time and don't have jobs, I think that's amazing. I have to go to work. I can only put so much time into it.
Yeah. I have a friend, both friends, they both compete in bodybuilding. Her husband is Mr. Big Keith Williams. He's going to also to the Master Olympia. And I think your trainer might know him, the coach. And his wife,
Probably.
Tina, she also competes as a bodybuilder, and she's a mother. She has two kids, a 4-year-old, 11-year-old at home. She runs a bar. I mean, people don't think that bodybuilding is like this. It's not very lucrative compared to other sports. This is why I say I wish there was more financial stability because you could just do bodybuilding. So you the hairdresser on the side, and also I said
Yeah.
like sponsorship does help. So have you ever been sponsored as an athlete before?
No, not really. I feel like if I stayed more in the strongman games, I kind of my look fits into that more because of my tattoos. So, I would appreciate help, but I'm not looking for it. Like it's all good.
Well, it's good to to help if you can. It never hurts to help. If
No,
anybody out there,
exactly.
anybody out there who's just interested in helping,
Yeah, no,
just
exactly.
yeah, just interested want to help her because you know what, look at the cost of the potency right there. That's your car
Right.
note. That's rent. The food cost. You got to pay Biggie. He doesn't do for free.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
those little things are a expense, and that's why I say like in bodybuilding, especially as an amateur, you have to pay if you're going to do a show. You say, you know what, you might want to do two divisions just in case if you don't get it in one. I was talking with a lady who got a pro card a couple years ago. She was doing 3 classes and took second in those 3 classes, and then you have to get a pro card till like maybe a couple years later. But
Hmm.
you really have to understand that. And like I said again, go back to the training. Like when you're training, what's that one workout you say, I love it. It just makes me feel good. And I want to say, shit, I don't want to do this.
All of them. I don't know. I don't know. Like now it's like I feel weird if I don't go to the gym, but I've been training with my coach a lot off season and I'm about to start seeing him like 3 days a week. So I feel like that is gonna be my ultimate push that I need and I feel like it's just gonna help me slide through and get to my shows. Cause it's nice to have somebody there with you the whole time because it's not fun training by yourself.
Yeah, I used to work out by myself, just most of it did like treadmills and little lift some weights here and there. It's good. Like when I was in high school and we played football, I was on a football team and there was all those guys just rooting for each other because you had that camaraderie. It's just something great about when you're with a group of people who have your passion compared to when you do it on your own. You have to really push yourself to do it compared to when you have like something like Jane or Ann or Biggie saying, "Hey, come on, Dawn, you got to come on, Biggie, come on, you got to keep
Right.
going."
Right. No, I agree. But the nice thing is that the gym that I go to and the gym that my coach is at, we do kind of just push random people. It's almost like family. So like just being around that just kind of helps too.
Yeah, it's good to have good relationships in the sport,
Yeah.
and bonds. Like I said again, stories where I've heard sometimes people can be a little bit, like yeah, yeah. But it's good when you have people like I said again with Jane and Biggie who support you and camaraderie. It's very important. Like
Exactly.
often,
No.
yeah.
And it's good. We all got to push ourselves. And, whether we're getting on stage or just trying to get through the workout, like, it's just nice that you have somebody that understands it just as much as, like, let's get this done. Wants you to do it just as much as they do. So, it's nice. It's nice to have, like, the gym family. And I've been in it for about 10 years. So, some of them I've known a long time.
hmm And yeah, it's good. And they are confident in you, you're confident in them. And relationships important. Bodybuilding, people say it's a lonely sport, but you're more alone on the stage, on when say we're in the gym.
And I feel like in the beginning, yes. But then once you get around the right people, it makes a huge difference. And you just got to, if you want to do stage stuff, you almost need a community because it's rough. It gets to be really hard to push yourself. But once everybody is around you and it kind of helps push you, it's nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's good to have good friendships and camaraderie. It's necessary, especially when we do this because this sport can be mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially draining. And like I said, food is the most important part of it because people said again, they're always thinking, you got to pop this pill, that pill. No, if you don't eat, and that's the most part, you have to eat. Like,
Oh yeah.
this is an answer for you, ladies, especially being a fat man. Share me, Don. I get asked competition. Where's that thing that was calling you? Being on prep, you can't eat the good stuff. What's that thing that was calling you? What was it calling you?
I don't know. I have a sweet tooth. I love pancakes.
Pancakes.
I have to be careful when I eat my meal after my show and I'm done my show stuff because I've made myself sick and it's not fun. So usually, like my post show is usually sushi and a big breakfast, and that makes me happy. But I don't know. I feel like chicken wings is my issue. The last two preps, it's chicken wings,
Well,
extra crispy chicken wings.
I like chicken wings too. And sometimes
I don't
like
know why, but that's my that last time and this time I'm like, I really wish I could have some.
yeah, sweet tooth. That's typical of bodybuilding because you're on a diet and sometimes you don't want you to have sugar. It's because glucose is very important to your brain, but when you're on prep, you don't have enough carbohydrates. You can lose that. And again, one thing I keep saying this: I'm not a fan of sushi. I grew up poor, but never that poor where I had to eat cold raw fish. So that's one thing. We got a comment from Big Jane. She says, 100% right, 100% right people, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you,
Yep.
Jane. Yeah, and people like Jane, and Jane, she's been in my life. I interviewed one of her friends before, and she came in, shot to Jane. I appreciate that. She's a great person, and I hope to have her back on again for another interview in the future. But yeah, food is important. And I know when you like be around with your family and then you go to events, you can't eat what's there because it won't be long for summer's about to start up, barbecues and stuff like that. It's going to hit. I mean, it's so tempting, but then if you do that, you can mess up your whole prep.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like to be done in July so I can enjoy my summer. So my last show is July 3rd, and then I don't have to worry about it no more.
Yeah, well, we
I
got
feel
comments.
like to diet all summer long would be so hard because I'm a summer person and I like to go do stuff.
Yeah, because you know what, you want to live your life, you want to enjoy yourself. Like, I'm not much of a summer person. I'm a big dude. If I go out there, if it's hot like that, I would melt like a ghetto snowman. He was a ghetto snowman. You just be a bunch of chocolate in the middle of the road. But yeah, I enjoy when I get the opportunity to go and spend time with family and friends and eat good food. A little, baked barbecue chicken or, a little. I don't eat potato salad like that, but I do like some nice rice. Here we got a comment from Jane, and Jane he says, chicken wings is my favorite. He says, and fries. So, you know what? I'll be afraid if I own a chicken joint and I see you and Big J coming through my door and said, shit, everybody get stock up. It's Don and Big Jane. You got to make sure you get stock up. That'd be crazy. But yeah, so your focus on, so you're going to do Universal July, and and that be it for you. You feel like you
Mhm.
want to try another show next year if you don't get your pro card, or you want to just say, what, let me take some time off.
I don't know. I'm gonna see how I feel after I do Team U and just go from there. It's kind
Mhm.
of what I did last year, and I was felt pretty good about everything and where I was because that was my first year back into bodybuilding because I had been out of it for 5 years. So this is year number two. So, but I'm good. I feel like I did a structured off season that I've never done before. So I'm excited to see what happens. And then, once Team U is over, and I have some food in my system that was really, really yummy, I will probably figure that out within the week after. I'll know.
Yeah, see, it's someone a lot of bodybuilders I know are very much foodies. They love food. They act like Pookie New Jack City. Be sometimes be like, it be calling me man, it be calling my name, be calling me man, be calling me. Because it's good. It tastes good. The right foods is good to process. And you said that you got sick. I remember somebody said one lady told me how one time she after the show she ate a lot of ice cream and she got sick because your body changes when you change your diet. when you are eating clean. We don't eat a lot of heavy stuff. You get away from the salty, the greasy, the sugary stuff. It's nice to have it once in a while, but every now and then, it's good to stick to it. Like I said, when I was made my choice to lose weight, I do try to eat healthy, but I know this afternoon I had some chicken wings and tater tots. I
Did
mean,
you really?
yeah, 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 yeah. It
Well,
was
thank you for having some chicken wings for me. I appreciate that.
yeah, not a problem. I'm here to. I'm a Southern gentleman, man. I'm here to
Okay.
breathe. I'm a man, Doc Holliday. I'm in my prime, so But yeah, it's good to make those healthy choices. Instead, again, bodybuilding does give you that. There is that other side to it because it is very extreme. Because a while back, I had a young lady who passed away. People talking about things that they need to do in coaching and anything like that. What would you say to anybody who decided that, what, I want to get into bodybuilding? So what you would tell me about it?
I just feel like if somebody wants to get into it, they need to have a coach. They need to spend some money and they need to have a coach that's been around for a while. That like kind of not a newbie, because when you're first in it, like, and if they're new into it too, they're not gonna, it's, you're both gonna get kind of lost. And I like some